Okay. All right. It says we're recording, so I believe we'll get started. Um, Thank you. Welcome to New Our Life Presents. We are the virtual interview of New Our Life magazine, New Our Life Media, as you see in my background here. I am the founder and the host, David Cheney Jr. And let me tell you something. I am extremely excited, as you read in the email, to have you on today because you are the Ernest Owens.
Oh,
And the thing is, one thing I love about you support your own.
yeah,
And I thank you for that because a lot of times we don't support each other. We can be in the same industry and support each other. I
that's
think
right.
people don't realize that. And so when you agreed, I was like, when I got the email back, I was like, what do I do?
Oh,
Do it? Okay. Let me go ahead and set a date. Let me be a real journalist. Okay. This okay. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. All right. All
oh,
right. But
yeah,
if you guys don't know, this is Ernest Owens. He's the editor at large at Philadelphia Magazine. He is the president of the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists. He has written articles for New York Times, Washington Post. He is a grad of UPenn and just recently a grad of University of Southern California. He is also the CEO and founder of Earnest Media Empire. He also has a weekly podcast called Earnestly Speaking. And that's just to name some of the things. He's also was on the list of Forbes 30 under 30 last year. So this is
yeah.
somebody to be reckoned with, okay?
Oh,
So with that being said, I want to jump right into it because I don't like to intrude on people's time.
yeah, let's do
What
it.
made you choose journalism as a career?
I think for me, it was just the start of just telling stories that I felt like weren't being told. I really had a love of various things. And I think for me, when I started off, I was interested in politics when I was in high school. And then when I got to college, um, it was really about all of the things that I liked. I felt like journalism had all of the different interest that I had in my entire life at that point. I love to talk, I love to do public speaking, I love to write, I love TV, I love making social impact, I love doing research and learning about new things and sharing my opinion. And journalism combined all of these skills that I learned over the years. You know, I did theater arts in high school very aggressively, speech and debate, science fair, global student government, all these types of government affairs groups and things. And this industry combined all of those internships, all of that stuff that I learned, and it was applicable to journalism. And I think I'm really good at it because I have so many life experiences that I've done over the years that gave me insight. Like I did dairy cow judging. I was the president of Future Farmers of America when I was in Houston for my local chapter,
Mhm.
and I did all of these different things. And when I became a journalist, all of those things were pulled into my stories and into my experiences and my knowledge about certain issues. And so, you know, I think journalism was just the perfect place for me to take all of these different experiences and make something out of them.
I like that. And by the way, you did tell a little fib. You said you're good at it. You're not good. You're great.
Oh,
You're great at what you do. Trust me. You're great at what you do.
thank
Not too
you.
many can do that. Um,
Thank you.
but it's funny you say that because our paths are kind of similar. That's why I say we're kindred spirits sometimes. Now,
Yeah.
I will say this: you say a whole lot of stuff that I'll be thinking. I'll be like, I can't say that.
Hmm.
I can't say that.
Well,
I'm a newbie. I'm
listen,
a rookie. I have to remind myself I'm a rookie. He's an elder in this. He's a big brother. He can do
I
that.
am
You
29.
my big brother in it. See, I'm only
I am
28, but you're like my
29.
big brother. You're not like older,
All
older,
right.
but you know what
All
I mean.
right.
You're my
All
big
right.
brother, and so I'm like,
All right.
I'm gonna let him do that, and I'm gonna back him up though. I'm still gonna be, I'm gonna be the choir, amen, pastor, you know. But I definitely like the way that what you said when you said experiences. And that is so important because that's why I started New Our Life, because I wanted our people, to tell their stories without Hollywood, without the sugarcoating, without the watering down. I wanted honesty. I wanted it to come straight from the source, right? Um, but talking about choosing journalism and how you kind of became a journalist, What did that journey look like, especially being an openly gay Black man in a society that's dominated, let's be real, dominated by systematic racism and
Yeah.
homophobia? Let's
Well,
call it out,
yeah,
both
all
of
of
them.
it, right? I mean, all byproducts of white supremacy. I think, for me, it's just there's two things. One is that you recognize that there's always going to be an excuse that's going to be mirrored in some type of way, right? Regardless of whatever the publication is or the media company, there's always going to be some excuse, right? Oh, you're too opinionated, or we think that this is going to make you more biased on this particular topic, using one experience, one identity experience against the other. Um, people saying you're not ready, people, questioning your ability to just do your job fairly. Um, all types of different models of discrimination across various platforms. I've experienced discrimination in the Black press. I've experienced discrimination with quote unquote mainstream media. I've experienced it regional, and there's so many different forms of discrimination that's happening in various media platforms for different reasons. Some
Yeah.
people will, look at what school you go to and say, okay, you got your degree from this place, so we want these people. It's a lot of that nepotism. A lot of people are related to people in this industry. A lot of the folks you see on TV that are getting exposure on the local and national level, sometimes they're related to someone of political status or money or wealth or things. So there's a lot of that nepotism that happens in the business. But it's also a business. It's also, one that favors rich people. When you look at internship opportunities that are out there, I was in college, I hustled in different ways, but there was a lot of internship opportunities that were unpaid.
Mm,
And you can't do, for the summer, I couldn't do a summer internship that was unpaid. I didn't know journalism internships in college because they were unpaid. Because,
yeah.
I had to, do what I had to do. So I had to do government internships and did stuff with the university, fellowships in the summer. But what I did was that in the spring and the fall, I had to take semester. I did school year school internships, which were less
Okay.
competitive. And people don't know that. I want to tell people that if you're in college, undergrad, whatever, it's easier to get those internships at your favorite places in the fall and the spring compared to the summer because everyone's competing in the summer.
That's true.
So I had an internship, a spring internship at Philadelphia Magazine when I was in college. I had a fall internship at NBC 10, which was super competitive in the summer to get. But
Mm,
in the fall and the spring and all that, they were laxer because a lot of those kids, those rich kids and folks who got family and whatever, they weren't they weren't doing internships in the school year. I
yeah.
always did internships in school year, and a lot of that I could get college credit for it. I just built networks that way, and it was also a way to enhance my resume because everyone always just had summer internships. Nah, I had fall, spring, summer
That's right.
internships, and built a lot of relationships. So when I tell people that I've either worked or written in every newsroom in Philadelphia, that's a fact. I have contributed in some type of way with every newsroom in Philadelphia, and including Aldea. They've either covered
Wow.
me or I've either written for them or I've been on their TV. I was on 6AB. I'm going to be on 6ABC this week. I've
Yeah.
been on Fox 29. I've done work with NBC 10. I've been at all the stations, the radio stations, everybody I've done something with over the years. So, that's how you build your name and you build relationships and um, they've paid off for me very quickly.
Wow. I love that. Um, and you mentioned something earlier in your response where you were saying the identity. Sometimes you were put in a place where you had to choose between the two. Was that
Yeah.
ever a struggle, or was you just straight ahead like, no, I'm a Black gay man,
I
period?
think I had to be like no because I think I was pretty much no because I've seen too many people I looked up to in the industry try it the other way, which is basically, oh, I'm going to suppress this part of myself to fit in and do this, and they were all miserable. I've
Yeah.
been in the industry with some heavyweights. I've seen a lot of people that folks look up to that are struggling, for different reasons, emotionally, sexually, financially, because they don't feel comfortable in their skin to be out. And I tell myself, if I'm going to do this, I'm only going to be able to do it one way. And if it doesn't work, then I'll figure something out. But I just couldn't do that because I tell people that it impacts your mental health, your well-being, impacts how you cover things. If you're not well within, it's hard for you to do the stories that matter. I mean, this is tough work. You're dealing with a lot of serious
Yes.
stuff already, and I think I've been blessed and fortunate that my personal life isn't as chaotic as the professional life as far as the stories I have to cover. And it's very important to me to keep that balance of just having a stable house and a stable relationship situation with friends and everyone, because the work is unpredictable. Stuff happens every day. This week, what this week was going to be was, I can't predict, right? Last week was
Right.
crazy. Stuff that I thought was done and old and gone came back up.
Oh,
I'm
we're
one
going to
moment.
jump into that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So it's a lot of stuff that you just never know. So you just have to just make sure that one thing in your life is consistent. I always tell people that you got to have something in your life stable, right?
Yeah.
Stable household, stable career, stable self. And so for me, I recognize that I try to maintain a stable self. I sleep, I eat, I got a massage today. I take time to really like make sure I'm okay. And
Self
then my
care.
friendships, yeah, my friendships are really good. My family situation is really good. And then my career is doing well, but the chaos and unpredictableness of what comes up, that's the stuff that like I have to have that. So I always tell people there's always going to be something, but you can't let everything just go amok. Something's got to get under control. And so I make decisions to figure out what can go under control. And, because everything, there's something that's going to always be unpredictable. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that. Um, you've broken so many barriers, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And like you've literally not just broken down barriers, but you kicked doors down
Hmm.
and paved the way for not only your peers, those of us who are coming along beside you, but also those who are coming after us. Um, I mentioned earlier, you are the new editor at large at Philadelphia Magazine.
Yes.
And what does that look and feel like? I mean, you're the first Black person to have that role, which you earned. Let's not be mistaken. You definitely
Right.
earned it. In this over 100-year history. What does that look and feel like?
It's it's humbling. It's I'm grateful for it. I'm happy that this happened. It's a long overdue. It doesn't at all make me feel special because to a certain degree, because I know that there has been many before me that deserve to be there here.
Mm,
So I don't look at it like there was no one else and there was me and I was that special one out of all these years. No, I think there was so many people that should have gotten this before me that because of racism, because of discrimination, didn't. But the fact that there is that door open and I am in that position, I mean, I'm happy that they picked the person like myself who was openly gay, who was outspoken, who's an entrepreneur, who is young, who represents, the idea to people that these types of positions can be held by people that are unbought and unbothered. Not just identity. Like I could talk about racial
that's
identity and
right.
all those things, but just saying that, hey, that person who, you know, talks about racism and call it out on Twitter and social media can also be that same person that can hold such a prestigious seat. Um, because we don't tell that. Like we talk a lot about Black excellence and Black success, but a lot of that is rooted in respectability politics that are often a certain type of look.
Yeah.
And I am just been someone who I navigate all those looks. I wear suits and ties, but I also, like to look, casual. And I also like to curse and I also like to drink and I also like to talk about petty shit on my social media and also talk about politics and everything else. Like I'm a whole person and I'm happy
Yeah.
that that Philadelphia Magazine allows me to bring my full self to the work that I do with them and that I'm able to have that independence as an entrepreneur, media entrepreneur, and just do that too. So it's a very unique experience, it's a very unique position, but I'm hoping that it inspires other newsrooms and other places to find ways to engage Black journalists and professionals outside of just the traditional 9 to 5 clock in, you do this, you do that, you gotta look like this, talk like this, dress like this, act like this. that
Yeah,
actually at the end of the day, it's about getting the work done, you know? And so you're
that's
right.
right.
I do a lot of great work, and that's what's being rewarded, not all the other stuff. Because you can have a person dress up and talk all day a certain way, and they're not getting shit done. They're not, the numbers are not high, the ratings are not there, the people are not engaged, the audience is not growing. You know, it's about the business. And I think more people are starting to lean that way, where it's like, why do we have all these other bells and whistles? What is it about? Getting the job done. If you can do the job and you're good at the job,
Mhm.
then that's what needs to happen. Period. So
Love it. Love it. Now, you work for Philadelphia Magazine. You have your own media company. You're the president of our organization. H- and then you're getting married soon.
yes.
How are you balancing all of this?
Well,
How are you doing
um,
it?
um, you know, for me, it's a nonstop, right? Because I work for myself. I think that helps, right? Because
Mm,
I'm not on anyone's clock but my own clock. I'm on my own clock.
say
When
that.
I get up in the morning, this is what I do. You know, I'm doing different things. We're now like $2,500 left to paying off our entire wedding.
Ooh, that's a big
So
one.
that is
That's a big
exciting.
one.
Yeah, that's exciting. And so, we're sending those payments off to the venue and all that. And we did a big old package. So it comes with the decorations, the tables, the food and
Oh,
things.
that was
And
good.
honestly, we've been hustling on this. We got engaged Christmas Eve of 2019. So
Okay.
we've been doing this for a year now, some change, working the pandemic. We didn't travel and do anything. So all that money was making, and the money I was making from all the speaking engagements and the work he does with his bartending business, he got a promotion, new job, all of these raises, I got a promotion, like all of these things is
Yeah.
like, let's put it in, put it in the wedding, put it away. Because I refuse to go in debt behind this wedding. I refuse to take out any loans. I'm not that person. I'm not judging people that do what they do. You do what you do. But I was like, the moment we did all this, the whole ring and all that cute stuff was like, yay, okay, how are we gonna do this? Because I'm not about to have a cheap wedding, but I'm not about to like go broke doing it. So how are
Exactly.
we gonna
Exactly.
carve this out? And so I think in many ways the pandemic kind of like played a role in that, because if I was going to my conventions and traveling, air travel, doing all this stuff, that
Yeah.
would have been eating at them. Listen, them hundreds count. We do this rule with the account. We got a joint account and everything, where we do 250. It's
Okay.
everything's at intervals of 250 that goes in that account. So
Hmm.
it's like 500, 1,000. $250, whatever. Like I'll get a speaking engagement and I'll be like, oh wow, I got 2,000. I'm gonna put 1,500 in the account and then keep that 500 for myself. We was just doing that with all of the things that we were doing, and
Wow.
so that's
That's
what helped to pay it.
smart.
And it's a big way. It's 100 people. We are at a venue downtown. We got a museum. We got tables, chairs, open bar, full
That.
catering, 3 courses.
Oh,
Uh, it's a big
this
wedding,
is
and
nice. This should be in
it's
a society newsletter, like the Brit.
there's some
Like
people from the press hitting us up about it already. We got a whole lot going on, but it's almost done.
that's dope.
So I'm a little excited because now I'm like, oh, we should still keep up saving, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, I might do generous things. Like I'm paying for all of the men of my wedding party to get their haircut. The women who's a part of the wedding party, we're paying for the makeup to
Oh.
get done. Um, I'm gonna pay for my family, my mom and my brothers and them to get flown out. They don't know that yet, so they're probably not gonna listen to this. Maybe, who knows? I'm gonna pay for them to get flown out to come down, and then hotel. We got the hotel. We got a hotel block. The hotel block then sold out, so folks are coming. It's gonna be
Oh,
huge.
that's beautiful.
It's gonna be huge. But to answer your question though, the planning is that it's just like all of this. How I balance this is that like I work on my own calendar. So when I
Okay.
get up, I'm like, okay, I got a meeting with the wedding planner. Okay,
Okay.
that's at 9 a.m. Got a meeting with my editors to write a piece at 10. Talking to one of my national editors that I work with. Talk to my local editor about a piece. In between, I might be drafting something that might come up, and there's money that comes down. I have a scheduled meeting to do with an organization as the president of PABJ. I'm always consistently texting or messaging on consistent communication throughout the day and the week with my board members and people. So that also helps. I'm talking to my book agent. I'm talking to different people throughout the day, but I'm carving out that time. And again, my schedule's my schedule. So I get up at like, traditionally I get up around 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. And then sometimes I might crash around midnight maybe, but sometimes I stay up late on the phone with my friends. But I do nap in between the day. Like I do cut out some nap time. So
Okay.
nap time is traditionally around anywhere between 2 to 4 o'clock might be my nap time sometimes. But it changes depending on what my meetings are. But I always get some nap in between. And
I
I'm all
like
about
that.
sleep. And again, I work on my schedule. And some days are more crazy than others, but like it's all about spacing and pacing. And again, I control my schedule that way. So that's what happens. Because I see a lot of people spend a lot of time. People think I spend a lot of time on social media. I probably spend more than most people do, but I think I spend less than most people do. If you look at my pattern, it looks like I'm consistently on social media. I'm not as much. I have a little periodical calendar. Like I'll drop a thing every 3 hours. Now, if there's something going on, it may be a busy day, it might be more. Like this
Okay.
week was a lot, but I'm always good. I
Yes.
have my spacing and pacing. One of the things I try to do is I try not to post anything on Facebook before 11 a.m. if it's any heavy stories or any news that I do.
Okay.
But then sometimes something light might come up and I might put something up light. But I study the algorithm and I also study people's social media patterns. And that is how I just, put my stuff up. I don't like to put up stuff too late because I'm like, people are either going to bed or they're drunk or they don't care. Last night, that was different. And then
That's
everything
true.
went crazy. And I was like, yo, I got to put this up now. And I was like, oh, wow, really? People are really responding to this. But it depends on what it is. You just got to know your audience, got to know your flow. But there's a method to the madness. It is very much curating that kind of way, and yeah, that's how I'm able to cram all this in.
You know what? We're gonna switch it up a little bit because
Okay.
you're talking about some of the things that's been happening on social media,
Yeah,
some things that we've all saw on social media this week, right? And that was the infamous uh, the infamous exchange between you and JT, who folks thought was, let's be real, we thought that was the white boy that could come to the cookout,
that's
right?
right. That's right.
And he said, the Super Bowl incident that happened years ago. I remember that because I was like in middle school and I missed it. I
I
missed
was
it.
too.
And my
We're the
friends
same.
were
We're
like,
like not that far from the same age, so
yeah,
like,
like I remember when that happened, but I don't know if I was like, how do you say it? Like present, like when it happened. Like I
hmm
just remember talk about it that night and the next day, right?
right.
But I love the fact that you called him out on it and that you was trying to hold him accountable. And this was what, 5 years ago? And he said,
Yeah, nearly 5 years ago. Yeah, it was
and he
June
said,
of 2016.
yeah, and he said, tell everyone what did he say to you
Oh goodness. Well,
in the shortest form possible, if you
no,
can.
absolutely. I think what happened was that I was trying to have a real conversation with him about an award ceremony situation because it was the BET Awards in 2016. Jesse Williams had given that really great speech.
Yes.
Everything was looking good. And then he decided to insert himself in the conversation. And pretty much what came out of that was that he said, you know, I said to him, does this mean that you're going? He said he was inspired by the speech. And so I said to him, so does this mean you're going to stop appropriating our music and culture and apologize to Janet too?
Yep.
That's what I said to him. I did the hashtag BT Awards. Who would ever thought
Hmm.
that would start so much? And then he said to me, responding back with a quote tweet, oh, you sweet soul. The more you realize that we are the same, the more we can have a conversation. Bye. And just kind of dismissed me. And, everybody thought that was going to be the T. By that morning, he said, I feel misunderstood. I responded to a specific tweet that wasn't meant to be a general response. I shouldn't have responded anyway. That's how he, explained it. And then, of course, 2018, he wrote that song with Chris Stapleton from Zach Brown Band called Say Something, which got on the Billboard charts and got a Grammy nomination. And he said the song was about our encounter on social media, and that was crazy. He did a song inspired by us, and yeah.
What? Hold up.
You didn't read the article, did you?
I
So you didn't do
read
your
the
homework.
article. I read the article, but I'm just still in shock that
Yes, he did a
he was
song.
that petty to
Petty. Yeah.
like, sir, no, it's one thing to read it, Ernest, but it's another to hear the person actually tell you from their point of view
Yeah.
verbally.
I can see
So,
that.
oh, you know what? I'm gonna let that fly. I'm gonna let that fly. But how do we handle situations like that? When you have white people in
Yeah.
black spaces that feel comfortable. It's kind of like that one episode, you remember Girlfriends, where Lynn's sister felt comfortable to say nigga. So how do
Mm-hmm.
we address that?
Mm-hmm. Well, we have to. Well, first of all, as us as Black people, we just have to understand that there's no such thing as a cookout.
Mm,
There's no such thing as a cookout where white people can feel inclined to come. If you want to have your own personal relationships and situations, by all means, do that. If that's what you want to do, which is fine. But what we have to realize is that as Black people, we give up so much of our space.
yeah.
We give up so much of our identities. We give up so much of our culture to people who don't respect it, don't pay it, don't consider it, don't honor it, exploit it, steal our stuff, and then repackage it and then sell it and pretend it's theirs.
Yeah.
That's how this happens. And so the reality is that it starts with us.
Hmm.
One, doing two things. One, calling out white supremacy, calling out white people doing this. But two, not perpetuating the action by consistently giving people things like a pass. You don't see other cultures say to Black people or any group of people, you got a pass. You're an honorary this, you're an honorary that. Here's your
That's so
pass,
true.
here's your
Yeah, you're
pass.
right
You
about
can you
that.
can get the hall pass to say this, and you can get the hall pass to say that. Why are we so quick to give our culture and give people the vetting to say things, right? I saw this businessman, this white man who's in the business sector. He hangs around a lot of business owners, and he goes around talking about how he wanted to always get the honorary pass to say the N word. Like, why is that a goal?
Sir,
Go, go. But there's people
no.
out here that are Black in our community that is giving people this authorization and this thing to do these
Yeah.
things, and that comfort that they have manifests because then they go to their other white friends and be like, look, I got this thing, right? And then they start going and doing that. And I think part of me feels like a lot of Black people do that, not because they necessarily are down with it, but because they want the white gaze. They want validation, they want approval, they want to fit in. And it's that thing you see with young kids. It's in white neighborhoods, right? Where they see white kids kind of picking on them, acting funny with them. And they're like, if they let this kid do this, then that's gonna be a way for them to maintain a friendship or feel safe. So you see
Hmm.
a lot of people that want to assimilate and they want to, get into these comfort zones because they think that's going to save them. They think that's going to protect them. But it does the opposite because once these white people get this power, get this knowledge, they then use it against us. They then weaponize it against us. They then use it to then become the feds. They then use it to terrorize our communities and terrorize our culture. And
Yeah.
that's what they've done. I mean, Kim Kardashian and Kanye just recently announced their divorce, but like Kim benefited off of Kanye like a cash cow. Her proximity to his blackness and any of the blackness of any of the Black men she was dating gave her access into a culture and a consumer base of Black people and women and folks to be able to buy into her because of that cultural card that she got with one of the most prominent Black male musicians in pop culture. He's one of the most. He's iconic. He's
Yeah.
legendary for all of his quirks and problems. We cannot deny his impact in the music industry.
Yeah. His
Her
genius.
her proximity to him gave her that access because she was tacky, she was corny, she was not talented. Okay, she didn't have any skill set that was cultured, right? She didn't have that. So she got with him and that gave her validation. How many
Mm.
white people align themselves with culturally astute Black people, right? Because we are the culture. How many of them get with us, hang out with us, date us, be in proximity to us to get that access for that capital? Because she would have never gotten the front cover of Vogue if she was not dating Kanye. The first time she got on the front cover of Vogue was with her and Kanye. So there is a lot of cultural capital that Kanye gave her. She made the money, but he had the talent. And so when you got somebody who can get money and you got somebody who got talent together, that's an unstoppable capitalist machine. And for nearly 7 years, they did that as a couple. They benefit off each other until he started to fumble the bag. So she doesn't see the value in Kanye anymore. His antics is costing the family, it's costing her reputation, it's bringing her down. And she sees him no longer as a feasible business model. I mean, they have beautiful kids and they're going to keep those kids, and those kids are beautiful. Yeah. But she needed that to expand. Now it's hurting her. Remember, the Kardashians are no longer on the air, so their drama is not marketable. She's got to figure out what's next for her career, because the Kardashians is over. She didn't have her 15 minutes of fame. She had her 15 years of fame. Yeah. They're fading. And then those Jenners are now keeping the family afloat now. The Kardashians are now out the conversation. It's the Jenners that's holding it down. So now they like to say Kardashian Jenner clan. It's like, no, child. The Jenners are one side, the Kardashians are another.
Another side. That's two sets of kids, people.
That's two sets of kids. Two different fathers. Like, come on now. Like, Rob Kardashian is dead. He's been dead. The Kardashian brand is dying. Jenner brand is in. And that's what it is.
And y'all heard that, right? Okay.
That's that. Yeah, that's that.
So, to bring it back more local, that was good. That was good.
Real.
That was really good. And I love what you said, the cultural, how people are like just taking our culture because they feel, oh, I'm close with you. I can, say this, I can do it. I'm so glad you called it out, because I think a lot of times we're so cool with that person, we overlook it. Even, and you know what? Even if it's another person of color.
Oh, yes. Well, the anti-Blackness is real.
Even if it's another person, it don't just have to be white people. It could be other people of color that we give passes to. And it's just like, oh, yeah, we got to be careful about that. Woo. Well, to bring it back home a little locally, I wouldn't say you started the call, but from my watching, you definitely put the call out there for the resignation of Mayor Kinney
right.
and Commissioner Outlaw. We've all saw what happened last year. 2020 was hell, period. And the peaceful protests, they were peaceful until the cops got there. That's what I like to say. But the issue that a lot of people are split on is the whole tear gassing thing.
Yes.
Well, she's a sister, she's part of this great sorority, and she has 2 Black sons, and she's the first Black woman commissioner. And, there were some people that you've clashed with within the Black community here in Philly. And it's funny because you brought up something that I saw when I first moved to Philly. I've only been in Philly for about 8 years.
And where are you from?
North Carolina.
Okay.
Born and raised, North Carolina boy. So it was crazy how you just brought to fruition what I had already been saying I had saw. And that was the classism within the Black community. That, or has one person that I used to work with used to say, the have and the have-nots.
Right.
And so I wanted to talk more about that clashes of the classes, as I like to call it.
Right.
Like, what's happening with that? And as we see, they're not resigning. I mean, it's not happening anytime soon. How do you feel about that? And what do you think should be the next step, since she's like, her or him are not resigning? And then you have people, like you said, you mentioned how one of the organizations that she is a part of actually had, like, what was it, a town hall to get together and support her. And, it's kind of like, I get it, y'all, and I love us, But to your point, all skin folk ain't kinfolk, and we
That's
got to
right.
hold each other accountable.
That's right. And I think the reality is, and what I think has happened consistently is that identity politics don't save us. You know what I'm saying? We look at a lot of people who do this identity politics. It's like, I want to take a step back. What is this person doing to Black people? What is this person doing in the Black community? What is this person, how do they treat other Black people? If we don't have an understanding about what that looks like and what that's doing,
Yeah.
then just supporting people on their racial identity alone does nothing for us as a people. I'm very much invested in community. I'm very much invested in the safety and the protection of the community. And we have to acknowledge that in our community, there are some people who pimp us, rape us, exploit us, discriminate against us, and those people don't get a seat. We don't elevate those people. Every community got people like that. Every community has snakes in their grass, in their gardens. Everybody has that.
Yeah.
And what you got to do is you have to weed those people out, and you have to protect your people in the process. And too often what happens is that people are so blinded by skin color alone that they
Yeah.
will do everything in their power to absolve people from any harm at the expense of the community. I will not let West Philadelphia and 52nd Street and other areas of Philadelphia that have Black communities burn and have people being tear gassed to protect one person that claims to be for us that is doing things that's against us. So we have to decide what matters more, community or position, titles
Mm.
or proximity. Like you got to figure out what's the more important. And I think that there are people in our community who are obsessed with positions over purpose. They're obsessed with titles. They're obsessed with the appearance of power, but they don't care about community. They care about profits over people. And we see these things because when you have conversations, these are moral, these should be moral conversations that are rooted in ethics and integrity.
Yeah.
They're not. They're rooted in business and power. Those are different conversations. They should be connected, but they're separate. So the people that supported Danielle Outlaw are many of those people are people that are affiliated with her through a sorority. They're affiliated with her through organizations that they're a part of. They want to be in the same room with her and have a seat at the tables. They want to be in that type of power circle with her.
Yeah.
Those decisions are not considering the people like us who are outside of those rooms that are getting impacted by her dangerous decisions. These are dangerous, reckless decisions when you are violating the First Amendment rights of Black people, when you are tear gassing them. And if we want to talk about not all our skin folk are our kinfolk, right? Let's keep it 100. If we got to save her because she's a Black woman, why wasn't she, if she was this Black woman, why was she not looking out for Black people when she was making these decisions? She didn't have to do the tear gas, she chose to. But even to take it on another level, she didn't tear gas those people on Fishtown. She didn't tear gas those white people out there with those bats and those golf clubs that was cutting up over there. Those people got to walk around like vigilantes and terrorize people and talk trash, and they were dapping up the cops. And nobody got hurt over there.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
and the crazy part is that here's the part that I want to tell all these ritzy folks. Some of these people don't even live in Philadelphia. They live in Montgomery County, Delco, all these different suburbs,
Yeah.
Chester, and all these.
Yeah.
They don't pay taxes in Philadelphia. Those weren't their kids getting tear gas. Their people weren't experiencing this stuff. So it's very interesting to me how half-assed this process has been, the logic has been, and it's interesting because look at the people who support her. I'm not seeing everyday working class people support her. I'm seeing a bunch of executive directors and presidents and CEOs and business people and stakeholders. It's people in power that defend her because the system is always going to be on the side of the police state when it comes to maintaining state power. That's what they're doing. They're perpetuating the same system that works for them
Yeah.
because they're all doing the same thing. And they got to keep one each other protected because if they go against Outlaw, they'll go against the banks. They'll go against the people who are in government. So they all got to stick together because they're all a part of that state power that's trying to threaten the livelihood of everyday Black and brown people. And so if you're the police commissioner, and you're making decisions like that, nah, you gotta go. And here's the thing. She can still be in the community, but she needs to resign. You gotta go. You're not good at your job. No one said you're not black, but you're not going to be in this position tear gassing people.
Yeah.
And the only reason why you can't go because you're black. So my question to those people is, if a white person did it, would we be having this conversation?
No.
No. Which means that why is she doing the same type of harm a white man would do if she's black, if she's for black people? What's the point of having a black person in a position of power if they're going to do the same thing a white person would do? Nothing that she did was anything that a black person who cares about black people and black communities would do. If you claim that you're black and you for the people, why would you tear gas innocent protesters?
You're right. You're right.
That's not a so everybody wants to tell black people like me support her, but what you need to do is tell black people like her to protect and serve and support people like me. Because I'm not out here tear gassing Outlaw. I'm not calling for people to tear gas her. I'm not calling for violence. I'm calling for her to resign. Instead, she's calling for violence, right? Tear gassing, rubber bullets, you know? And here's the issue. All of this is going to cost the city a lot of money. There are countless lawsuits happening right now.
Yeah.
Dozens of lawsuits. I know lawyers representing hundreds, tons of people are doing class action lawsuits against the city. They will get their money. They will get settlements. It is a done bun. And you know what's going to happen? When everybody see all them settlements, remember this, listen, remember this conversation. When them articles come out about them settlements, who going to defend them prices? Because that money's coming out of the city. Taxpayers' dollars have to pay for that. So y'all want to get this woman in a position that's cost us millions of dollars? I can't afford that, because that's money that could be going to our schools, could be going to parks and recs, could go to those art programs they keep cutting the budget on. Police department has $725 million. Take it from their budget and don't give them no more money.
And you know, the mayor was just on the news earlier this week about what, $450 million deficit. And I was just like,
yep, we're going to be broke. They said that.
I said, oh well.
Yeah. You know what they could do with that money? Take it out the police department. I mean, you can't take it nowhere else, but then pay soda. What happened to that soda tax? Oh, we forgot the soda tax. Remember all that soda tax money was supposed to go to Parks and Rec and give us a cushion.
And don't forget early childhood education. Part of that was supposed to go
and
there.
pre-K, what happened to all that? These kids still reading on an underage reading level.
And don't forget also the tax that we pay to live in the city. It's
that's
like
right.
And the work in the city is the
and
Philadelphia working tax. I was like, what is this?
And you got the abatements that's not right either.
Well, let me tell you something. That's a whole nother conversation. That goes into real estate discrimination against lower income communities. Woo. Now, you touched on something when we talked about community scams, and I want to commend you for it's the first thing I've never seen anything like it. It was a social media documentary, and it was the cutest thing. I was like, I was going through the story, so I got to the end, and then I was like, let me go back and watch this again. And I just went back, and I was like, and I shared it with a friend, and I think that's what made her fall in love with you, because she saw the mini doc, and she was like, yo, and people be shouting him out on social media. People are joining his workshops and da-da-da. And I said, I'm telling you, I said, this ain't but an old-fashioned Chitlin circuit. They just found a new way to do it. So I want to commend you for doing that and for calling it out, because a lot of times we're scared to call out our own, just like the situation we talked about shortly. But I saw the outcome from your mini doc, because, you know, that's what real journalism is. It produces fruit, action, that the city was going to investigate some of the laws that he was not abiding by when they had event centers that were still opening and having.
Yeah, there's an inquiry. So what I know is that there was an inquiry. So there's people looking to it privately, and you know how the city takes their pretty time. But there is an inquiry, and there is people looking into it. And it's just interesting because I from what I have heard is that he's not even using those spaces anymore. Like he's kind of pushed aside that Philly connection. It's like there's really no more of a Philly connection anymore. I think he's given
Hmm.
it to his families, a family member, I think his mom or whatever, but those properties that he had, he's given off to like other folk. Like he's trying to
He's
not
gone
really do too
ghost.
much in Philly. Well, he's in Atlanta. He's based in Atlanta now.
Oh, okay.
So the Atlanta connection is kind of what's been doing it for him. Yeah.
Interesting.
But that's how they do though. They move around. I mean, he's bringing people along. Everybody going to Atlanta, and Atlanta is where they got the garages with the fake cars and all the planes
Yeah.
and stuff. They got a place over there. When I was doing my investigative work, I found a dealership that was out there where you pay I think $600 something like that, and you go down there, and it's like they got a whole like plot of land, and there's
And you can do
jets and
like a
there's stuff
photo
over
shoot.
there. They could do like a whole photo shoot or whatever, and it's
Wow.
wild. It's wild.
And that's probably
It's
something
crazy.
like the artists and rappers and stuff use when they shoot their videos and stuff like
All of
that.
them doing photo
Yeah.
shoots and jets, and you can look like you in the jet, and oh yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, uh, we're staying local because,
Yeah.
schools reopening. As you know, I'm an educator. I work from home. And I do
Mm-hmm.
miss my students. I work with high school students.
Oh,
But at the end of the day, their safety is important. But it's because I've been in human services, I've done
mm-hmm.
education, and I've seen both sides. I've seen what happens at home,
Okay.
and I've seen what happens in this classroom. So I'm kind of I'm stuck here because yes, I would love them to go to school because school provides a safe space for so many of our Black and Brown kids.
Oh
But at the
yes.
same token, we need to make sure that these schools are environmentally safe as well, not
Mm-hmm.
just safe for their emotional and mental, but for their health. Um, what are your thoughts on that? They pushed it back this
Yes,
week. They
sir.
pushed it back to
They
March
keep push.
1st.
They keep pushing the bag.
I know a lot of teachers like myself are saying, why don't we just wait till next year? What are your thoughts on that? What have you been
I
looking
don't
into
know
about
about
that?
next year. I
Not next
feel
year,
like
as in 2022, but like the fall, pushing it into
I
fall.
was about to say I think I'm a fan of fall. I
Yeah.
think fall. Get out the way. I mean, my thing is until the vaccination rollout kicks through, I do think there could be a hybrid situation for younger kids, maybe. But yeah, no. My brother is a senior right now in high school. I have a brother that's a senior right now in high school, and it's been
Mm,
interesting. They're in Texas though, so like they're out of school, they're in school. Well, right now they're not in school, but this let's just say this generation, if they a little bit, not as apt in college, say, are you one of the COVID? You one of the COVID kids? That's what we're gonna call them, the COVID kids,
yeah.
because they might have to brush up a little bit more in their studies when this is all over.
Yeah.
But I would just say that I think that it should start in the fall personally. Until everybody gets vaccinated, until there's more vaccinations happening, until the teachers are vaccinated, until parents are vaccinated at these jobs, until there is an environment that isn't going to be disrupted, then I recommend that because let an outbreak happen and then everything goes
Yeah.
amok. Why are we gonna keep doing this if it's gonna be this? Just be patient. And at the end of the day, this is one of those issues again. Is it about ethics and integrity, or is it about profits and everything else? And if the financial model currently with the school district is rooted in people having to abide by all these financial protocols, then that shouldn't be the reason why you will put people's lives at risk. You need to figure out how to adjust that system rather than trying to force everybody else to put their lives at risk or put themselves in situations. Because what I keep telling people about COVID, number one, I haven't had COVID. I've gotten vaccinated. I haven't had COVID. I'm happy to say that. But you don't know what it's going to do to everybody. Everybody's body is different. Everybody got different
Yeah.
conditions. I have a friend whose mother got diabetes. They call it COVID diabetes, where your health system can be so messed up that it opens up other things that were dormant in your system. There's a lot of different things happening to people how they're reacting, especially Black people. How Black people
Yes.
are reacting to these conditions, it's wild. and we're dying at disproportionate rates. You know, not a lot of Latinos are too. It's a problem.
Yeah.
So we gotta not act like, oh, somebody gets COVID, no big deal. No, every person that gets COVID is another story, another wild experience. Everybody's experience is not the same, and people have to understand that young people are dying from this too. So yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Wait till the vaccinations come through.
And I want to thank you for taking the stance that you did because I'm gonna be honest. I was one of those people. I'm not big on vaccinations, even though I got all mine when I was a little kid. Right, I had no other choice.
Well, I don't know why everybody acting
But
like you can't get a vaccination. Like we all got vaccinations growing
you
up.
know what it is. But I think what it goes back to is our mistrust with the medical system that's
Yeah.
deeply rooted. You have to look at how they treated slaves. Look at how they treated. Look at the Tuskegee
Right.
experiment.
But here's the issue. The issue is that white people are getting these vaccinations like all of us. They're not trying to specifically target black people. Everybody's getting this vaccination. And we're going to die if our people don't get this vaccination. We're already
Mhm.
dying. You either got a choice. You think that you're going to die, but you want to get COVID? Because you know what the life penalty is for COVID. You know what can happen if you get COVID.
That's right.
I would rather take a risk and get a vaccination that I see other people get outside of myself, or just risk the risk of, you know what's going to happen. You're going to die. Like, it's really
There's no either or. It's like this is
it's
it.
not. I mean, I just think that we have to really, we also got to we have to understand history better. We don't contextualize this better.
Yeah.
Let's break this down, because I think we throw this stuff up and we don't actually like understand it. Tuskegee was specifically an experiment that doctors and scientists did on black men, okay, specifically with hepatitis C, right? Syphilis.
Mhm.
They specifically were targeting black people. They didn't try white people. They only tried black people, black men. It was very intentional. It wasn't a public thing. They were very much messed up in what they did. This vaccination is in a trial test run where they couldn't even get enough black people to do the test run on this. There was a lack of diversity in the trial run.
Yeah.
They're not using this vaccination to test black people only. They're not saying, come on, black folks. Black people are disproportionately getting the vaccine, like by the single digits. There are more white people getting vaccinated than us.
Yes.
And there are more of them living and surviving than us. So are we going to use the past to stop us from the present? That's what I'm trying to tell people. You got to think about this. Those old experiments were only targeted to black people. If they came around here saying we got a COVID-19 vaccination, we only want black people to get it, I would be like, hold up, wait a minute. Because the logic should be, why can't white people get this?
That's right.
If it's good for the geese, it should be good for the gander. Here we are with black medical professionals. I got the Moderna. Moderna is co-made by a black woman. She got that vaccination. So am I supposed to sit up here and not trust this black woman doctor? Oh, but these are the same people that be like, oh, we got to support a black woman. Oh, we want to support black women who violate human rights, but we ain't going to support a black woman who's saving black lives. I'm saying we have to look at this differently. And I think the reality is that right now, too many of us are dying and there's no solution but the vaccine. I'm not hearing stories of black people who have died getting the vaccine. We're not dying getting the vaccine. I've gotten the vaccine. My fiance's gotten the vaccine. My best man got the vaccine. My best woman got the vaccine. A lot of my friends are getting it because we understand that we cannot lose each other.
Yeah.
When I see the constant family members and people that keeps dying out here, and nobody wants to name how these people are dying, but come on. These people are just falling, and everybody want to act like it's something else. No, it's COVID.
Yeah.
And so we want to act like, oh, this vaccine, I don't know what that is in my body. You done probably put a lot of things in your body you had no business putting in your body that could have killed you. But we want to sit up here and get all high and mighty and act like we're too good to get a vaccination, but we done probably did more risky things in our lives that wasn't trying to save us. So there's a lot of people out here that need to put that down because there's a lot of food you eat that you shouldn't be eating. You shouldn't be eating tilapia. You sit up there eating that farm-raised salmon. You don't know what's in that farm-raised salmon. You over here eating all kind of GMO food and genetically modified food, which is, whatever. There's a lot of stuff that we eat
Yeah,
every
that's
day
true.
that could be a risk. And all of a sudden, one vaccination that can clearly save our lives, we're trying to be like, we want to get all experty. Nah, please. Get that shot, save your life, save other people's lives around you, because you don't know what could happen. I had
That's
a
true.
friend who went out, got wild, went to Atlanta, gave one of their family members COVID. That person got it and died. They lived. They have to live with that for the rest of their life. This is no joke.
That's right.
This is no joke. It's not just about you, it's about other people around you.
Yeah.
It's about keeping other people safe. I don't know what would happen if I got COVID. I don't know, but I wasn't gonna find out. So I'm
Talk
happy that
about
I'm
it.
healthy, I'm safe, I'm clean. We always gonna have hand
That's
sanitizer
right.
around here. You know,
I
but
like that.
you gotta do it that way. That's my argument. That's my case. That's my
Thank
case.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Because, like I said, I was one of those people, I was like, oh, Lord, another, I don't know. But then after I saw your post and I saw a couple other people's posts, and both my parents work in public services. My mom is
Hmm.
in law enforcement back home. And she called me up one day and she was like, yeah, I got my first shot. And I was like, okay, all right. And then she was like, she was going back to her second one. And then I
Hmm.
thought about it. I want to go visit my grandparents more. I have grandparents that live here in Philly. And it's like, I really don't want to, like you said to your point about the friend that went to Atlanta, I don't want to be the reason that they pass away from COVID or expose them to it.
Mm.
Both cancer survivors. So it's like, no, I'm not about that life. So because of your post and others' posts, I'm more inclined to get it now than I
Okay.
was, I'll say, 2, 3 months ago.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm glad, I'm grateful that you were one of the people that put that out there to let people know, like, hey, and even one of my great content creators, Freedom Joan, they
Yeah, I know
went and
him.
got it, and they were
Oh.
saying how they were giving us statuses, updating us about their status after their side effects afterwards. And I love what they did. They made sure that they informed all of us that it's going to be different for everyone. Everyone
Yeah, I
won't
didn't
get.
have any major symptoms, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
yeah,
So
everybody's
what did
different.
you say you had no major symptoms? Did you have at least? I know some people said they have like a little ache, but that's about it.
A little what?
Shot was that like an aching pain?
I had well, the arm, yeah, because it's it does. You do feel it in the arm for like a
Hmm.
day or two, but that's about it. It was the arm.
Okay.
But when I got the shot, the day when I got it, I didn't feel anything. But then a couple hours later, you feel a little something. But put some ice on it, do some other things. You
Yeah,
know, yeah.
that's good. So, uh, you're from Houston.
I was born in
Um,
Chicago.
okay. But your family, you still have family in Houston. We saw what's been
Yes.
happening. How's your family doing?
Um, they're good now. I mean, the electricity kept coming on and coming off,
Okay.
and now I think it's finally on to stay, which has been promising. Um, everybody's been taking it easy. From what I've been able to see, everybody's been taking it easy. The good thing about them, and so this is funny. The good thing about them is that like they had the car filled up full tank prior to all this going down.
Mhm.
And my mother normally puts the car in the garage. She puts the garage down, the electronic garage go down. But for whatever reason, she was so tired today. She's like, I'm just gonna park it here, come in the house. Well, when all the snow stuff went down, it was a blessing in disguise because she was able to go in the car and they was able to stay warm in the car, charge their phones with the electricity car. If she would have put it inside the garage, that you can't be in the car with the garage,
Yeah,
the
carbon
thing.
monoxide
But also
poisoning.
too, that garage couldn't open because it was electric. And so when the power was out, they would have never been able to do that.
Oh
So
my
it was almost like it was a
God.
miracle in disguise. They was able to keep that charge.
Yeah.
They barbecued food. She had a fridge with food, and she had went grocery shopping like literally the 2 days before this
Hmm.
happened. So they was grilling like hot dogs and food and all kind of stuff and aluminum foil and vegetables and stuff. They made it. They made the best out of a very
Yeah.
ridiculous situation.
Well,
The
isn't that
water
what we
came on
do
at one point in
anyway?
time. Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah,
That's what we do.
yeah.
It's what we do. We do what we can with what we have.
That's right.
Um, but what are some projects that you are working on right now?
Oh, there's a lot of things.
You don't have to tell us
Oh no,
everything,
no, 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 no.
but
Let's
you
be
know,
clear.
give us a
No, no,
little
no.
taste of something.
I'm working on a book. I could say that. I'm working on the book. Um, I can't talk about what the book is about,
Okay,
but it's
okay.
about what I can say is that it's about a very newsworthy topic. And it's something that when people find out what it's about, they'll be like, oh, damn, this is one, they're going to say it's going to be good. But two, they're going to be like, yes, he should write about this.
If
And
you're
he's
writing about
definitely
it, I'm
an
sure
expert
people are
on
going to
this.
go buy it, sir.
It's an expertness to the book, and it's a surprise. I don't talk about this particular topic, but it will make so much sense to people. They're like, what? And I'm just been seeing a lot of talk about this topic, and I just been like, the more I see people talk about them, I'm like, yep, this book is on time. And it's went through several iterations. Like I have been working on a book. My book agent, uh I've been signed to my book. This summer will be 2 years. So this
Okay.
has been a 2 year process of figuring out topic. I had one book topic I came with. I'll talk about this in depth once the
Yeah,
ink
I
drops in the
understand.
line. But no, I just want to say it's a process to get a good book done. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not out here just trying to write a children's book and write about my trauma. You know, there's a lot of people that do that trauma porn stuff. And listen, it works for them. I just think that there's a time that I just want to see more Black gay writers write about experiences or write about topics that isn't so much rooted in, oh, this what happened when I was growing up, coming of age stories and trauma stories and stories about overcoming. And yeah, that's all of that. We get that. And I'm not saying they're not important and they're not necessary. What I want to say is that although we do have that story to tell, I hate that that's the only stories that's being told. It's either
Mm,
self-deprecating Black queer people that write books where they self-deprecate themselves and make themselves like a big old throw something at me, there's no triumph. Or there's stories where they are like always going through something, living through something, some adversity, something. It's always something rooted. And like that's nuance, right? I get it. But
yeah.
I also would like to see Black people tell stories or give expert opinions or ideas about
Mhm.
concepts and topics that aren't rooted in that. A lot of it's always the activism story. It's always one, I think, um typecast type of Black queer writer they want in the book world. And
Mhm.
I'm just trying to not be that at
Yeah.
all. I mean, acknowledging history, but not being that type of voice. And there's a lot of people
Yeah.
that's been doing that lately in the journalism world. Like, I just read these op-eds, man. I'm just like, read this before. It's the same story. It's the same type of experience. Did that 10 years ago. What about that 8 years ago? Did that already. Saw that. That reminds me of something I wrote 6 years ago. Like, it's the same thing. And I'm just like, did we all live the same lives? Because no,
No.
no. And I
No.
think that's the problem. I just see too much of that.
I
And
understand.
I think I think a lot of white companies, that's what they want from us too, right?
Yeah.
Even with Black women, like there's this new thing of Black women endure. We want strong Black women who've went through hardship. It's like, what about Black women who just leisure? Who just, you know, go out and, have fun
Yeah.
or, are in situations that are complicated, but came out of it a different way that did not require them hating a man or, being heartbroken or a woman scorned. I mean, that's not the only Black woman stories out there. As an editor, as someone who's working in different spaces, I'm challenging newsrooms, I'm challenging media outlets to stop with these tropes of how they do Black people in general, queer,
Yeah.
women, straight, rich, poor. There's just too many damn narratives. Like, as someone who went to an Ivy League school, the Black experience in those Ivy League schools are very complicated because you got kids like me who came from working class family, right? And so
Hmm.
my understanding of it is very different. But then you got people who came from money, and it's very much looking like a Martha's Vineyard, Tyler Perry movie type of
You know what?
Lynn Whitfield energy. You got them folks too. But you
Yeah.
got different types of people that come to these places and spaces for different
Yes.
reasons. And I just hate that movies, TV, books, and media, these people try to talk about these experiences and they haven't been through them or seen them. And so I just really am trying to write a book that essentially shows a very different way to think about these experiences or the reasons why we do the things we do and all of that.
Mhm.
And I hope it's great. And if I know people are going to buy it, I speak that affirmation. I want to write a book that I didn't think people would buy. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be another way to evolve what I'm currently doing, and that's like my big thing, right?
Okay.
And then the work I'm doing PABJ as president is always great. Philadelphia Magazine always keeps me on my toes. Um, I'm just always doing something. I didn't know I was
Talk,
going to be talking
tell them about your podcast.
my podcast. Yes, my podcast. I know. I just
I
started it in
love to give people
January.
platforms. Shout yourself out.
No, 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 no. The podcast is great. It's always on the charts. Did it independently. Earnestly speaking, ERNSTLY. So it's a play on my name in the adjective. But basically, it's a 2-hour podcast. I'm very frank about the issues that's going on. It's uncensored, it's unfiltered, for real, for real. Like we just talk about everything on that show. And I don't really do guests, so this is cool. Like I like to be guests on people's shows, but I have no guests on my show, no features. It's just me, and
So you're
it's
talking
great.
for 2 hours, Ernest?
Yes, you gotta listen to it. It's on my link in bio on Instagram. You gotta listen to it, and it's good and it's fun. I like it. It's therapeutic for me, but people just love it. I mean, I'm telling you, I encourage you, just put in your ears, cook, do what you do, and don't carry any heavy equipment. Don't
You know
shave your
what?
legs or anything
Don't
because
operate
you might cut
operate
yourself.
heavy machinery.
No, don't operate any heavy machinery. I want you to be somewhere relaxed, do light things, wash a dish. Don't wash porcelain because there's some things that might be said that are gonna have you shook. But it's great podcast, and I review news of the week, and then updates on my personal life and what I'm got going on, and we just go into it deep. And it's a great show, and it's been on since January. People have loved it. It's been great reactions. It's had thousands of downloads. Like I said, it's in the top 200 of the podcasts on the charts, and I just like the engagement that it's been getting. So it's independent. It's all me. So I'm talking my shit. It's all me. It's my company. It's under my banner. So nobody can tell me, we're done with this show. Because there's a lot of these Black folks out here who be having these podcasts, and when the companies be telling them, oh, that's enough of that, they got to go to, I don't know, Patreon to try to get the girls to subscribe. Joe Budden. And, you know, I'm just saying, own your stuff, be creative, own it early, like there's a lot of people that, I get it. People want to make money. I get it. But like I say, when you own your stuff, it's not, you don't got to worry about all of that,
That's true.
because the listeners and the fans don't care about all that background noise. They want to see content. They want to see
Yeah.
the work. And there's a lot of people out here that, they're not, they're doing too many other things. People don't want t-shirts. Sometimes people just want to listen to an episode. They might want a t-shirt, but give the people what they want and stop playing the people. So
You know what?
that's
You
real.
know what? That's why I'm so glad I had you on tonight. Because I was like, I'm just gonna ask him everything and just let it flow because
Yeah.
we just gonna have fun.
Yeah.
But we lost the legend last year, Mr. Earl Harvey,
Yeah.
who was, as you described, a mentor.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm pretty sure he was an inspiration to you. Like, there's no lie about that. What are you doing um, to keep his legacy going? Because, like I said, even you just showing up here tonight shows part of what you're doing to keep his legacy alive. Helping those around you, which he was about.
Yeah. What I would say about Earl is that Earl it's about opening those doors and keeping them accessible. You know, when I was like his parties, I mean, were iconic. He had these great holiday parties at the African American Museum, and he would just open doors for anybody. He just like anybody he thought was on the move or popping, he would just make sure they was in the room. And so what I try to do is that I try to make things as accessible to people as possible. A lot of my content has paywalls, but I always find ways to still give information to people on social media. I engage with people. I do respond to messages. Sometimes it be just a little too much, but I do respond to messages if
Yes,
I
he
have
does.
time.
If it's worth it. If it's not
If it's
worth
worth
it,
it, yeah. Sometimes I can give a heart or like I try to acknowledge
yeah.
people because I know how hard it is for people not to be acknowledged and what that felt like when I was starting. So I try to acknowledge people or respond to people. You know, if it's a healthy situation. Some people just be doing the most. You know, I mean, people give me whole essays and sometimes the essays are touching, but some people be doing the most. I mean, I've had people, I would say propose to me, but I've had listeners do some stuff. I'm like, sir, sir, thank you. And you
Gotta
get
love it. You gotta love it
it's
though.
just a lot of it's a lot. I love women who message me. I love the and I love and men too, you know, but I love when women message me. The ones that are respectful, not the hags. We don't say the other word, but the ones who do the, you know, you my best friend in my head. Yes. And I'm just like,
No.
no. But there's a lot of people that do that. I have had a couple of folks that do that. And I'll
Yeah.
just LOL emoji and just be like, okay.
But it's
But
flattering. It's flattering.
it is, but then it's so much. Then you get the people, you know, who just get real, like, I mean, the you're my brother in my head. I'm obsessed with you. And it's okay. So I've had black people I have more grace with clearly.
Yeah.
But some of these white people, yo, they be cutting up. Okay. I have had to give cease and desist orders. I had to give 2 cease and desist letters.
Shut your mouth.
Yes, I'm telling you this on the show. Yeah, I've had to give some cease and desist letters. Like I've had stalkers. Uh,
But
you
that's how
quiet?
you're doing the job though. That's how you know you're doing what you need to do. Because when
Yeah,
you have people
yeah,
that's how you know like
yeah.
your brand
It's
is popping.
oh, it's yeah.
In the words of our sister Lizzo, you got the juice.
Well, listen. Sometimes too much juice. I be like, I just need to have a little sippy cup, child. But no, it's
It's like,
look,
wow.
yes, yes, and it's just
Hey,
it's you know, so it was a couple of years ago. I mean, you know, so fun fact. So people say to me, why do I have it where people can't comment? If I follow you back, you can comment under my posts.
that's right.
But I don't have it like that because of, you know, my little incident I had with Sean King, you know, where we
Mhm.
got into it. I've gotten to a lot of people on Twitter. Charlamagne the God maybe done the day back in 16.
I
Uh,
remember that.
I don't deal with him. I've had a lot of couple of runs with the celebrities. You know, look, the A-list girls or the A-list girls. Some of the B, C, D list girls, they all be, you know, beefing with me in their head and blocking the
You know
kid on the
what?
social. They getting their feelings with me. They don't, you know, I'm you know, I mean, listen, Oprah likes me and Oprah knows who I am. And that's all that matters.
Yes.
Oprah flew me out to LA. I met her, I've interviewed her, I've partied with her. I have nothing but good things to say about her. You know, a lot of people sit up here and be friends with Chris Brown. So go judge Chris Brown and your friend with Chris Brown. Okay. Don't come at talking to me about Oprah. Don't. Oprah has done more for this industry than many
Yes.
and continues to, and she did for me. Okay. She did for me. And I can speak on that. So people that talk about some of these people, I just say, listen, if you don't like a person in the industry, you better have a real direct reason or you better have a personal experience. I can say why I don't like Justin Timberlake. Some people
That's
can't
right.
say why they don't like some of these celebrities. I can say why I don't like Charlamagne the God. Okay. I have had experiences with some of these people where I can speak on that.
Yeah.
So I'm very clear on that. So I love Oprah. Oprah was great to me. Oprah provided me an opportunity. Is anybody perfect? No, I'm not perfect. None of these people are perfect. But at the end of the day, I think she's on the right side of things compared to being on the wrong side of things. And it's a lot of these pathetic men in the industry that's doing far worse. They get so many chances, and no one holds them to the same standards they hold her. Oh, because she's a boss. That's why they hold her to the standard. So heavy lies the crown for the boss. But I do respect her hustle, her entrepreneurship, how she's continued to pave the way and influence so many people. She's your faves. Your faves look up to her. Okay. Who does Beyonce gives an interview to? She does an interview. She's gonna pick up that phone to Oprah though. Okay. Because that's the only person she's been giving interviews to, really, is Oprah. Meghan Markle, the royal family. Listen, they're doing their first ever interview with Oprah. Okay. She is still killing the game in 2021, even though she's supposed to be, kind of taking a back seat. She ain't took no back seat. Her hands is all in the culture. So I just, if y'all, everybody didn't stand for, I'm going to stand. I'm a stand. That's who I stand. I stand for Oprah. I don't stand for too many people. I stand for Rihanna. I love Rihanna. I stand for Oprah, Meryl Streep, Viola Davis, Regina King now, but not too many people I stand for in the industry. It's a lot of people. I'm like, they're okay. That was a cute little movie. That was a cute album. But there's some people that's done consistent body of work where I can't deny them. I can't deny them. Like, I cannot deny Meryl Streep. I stand Meryl Streep. I can't deny Viola Davis. I can't deny, a lot of these folks that's just killing it,
Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda,
yeah, I like her. Legend.
Because
you name about all the celebrities, and I'd be like, what's it? Gorgeous gowns, beautiful gowns. If you name some, try it. Name some celebrities. I'll tell you who I see it for briefly. You can go. Name some?
Oh goodness. Lizzo.
Promising.
I wasn't expecting that. Okay. All right. All right.
Promising.
Ashanti.
Has maintained beauty over the years. She looks good. She still looks good.
Keisha Cole.
Her looks. We're gonna pray for her. We have to. Thoughts and prayers.
Okay.
We gotta continue to pray for her. I'm praying for her.
Brandy. Oh God.
We need to just continue to guide her. We need to guide her. She has it. I just think the team around her. It's her team. We need to fire her team. That's my answer. Fire her team. We need to fire her.
So we can't talk about her without bringing up Brother Ray J.
Good entrepreneurship.
Okay. I can't stand you. Okay.
Now, he's a good entrepreneur. I will say that. He's a good entrepreneur.
Philly native, Will Smith.
Improving.
Okay.
Definitely improving.
Did you watch the latest doc that he did on Netflix?
I did. I think he had a hump from in a dark place, but now we found out why. So somebody got to give him a hug, a tissue. I'm liking the self-development he's doing, the growth he's doing from the entanglements to the estrangements. Aunt Viv and him has reunited. His wife
that was beautiful.
His wife and him are starting to get to a better place. I just think that Will is in a place where he's getting on the road to recovery for his career, because those roles was taking a hit. But I feel like he's getting into a new wave. I try to tell people that these celebrities can't last forever. Our Hollywood stars. I feel like Tom Cruise was Tom Cruise, and then Tom Cruise kind of faded. I feel like Will Smith had a moment and it fades. And it sucks when you see your fade. Like, I feel like Serena Williams, she had a moment. It's time for her to, Naomi got it now. Naomi got the juice now. I think they need to just go ahead and pass. Serena is a legend. I don't want Serena to go down like this. I don't want to keep seeing her go. We get excited. The fact that she's even playing at this level at this stage of her career, she's been doing the Grand Slam since like 21 years. Like,
a long time. A long time.
She won in 99. I was 8 in '99. Like Serena does not have anything to prove to anybody. I just feel like, you know, I get why she wants to prove a point, right? She
Yeah.
wants it for herself at this point. But it's a new energy.
Yeah.
Naomi is killing it, and that's good. Like there would be no Naomi if there was no Serena. So
That's
you
right.
gotta recognize the new energy of the kids are coming up faster. We're not gonna see any more of these 20-year something like legends anymore. These Michael Jordans after LeBron, it's not gonna be like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's getting smaller. Like we getting legends like people are coming in and coming out. Like, Naomi, I don't think Naomi's gonna be around for like 20-something years. She's gonna have a little moment, but she's not gonna be because I think that the way that the industry's going, it's just that no one's got that lasting power anymore.
Yeah.
Like Beyonce and Rihanna are like the last. Like Taylor Swift is gonna be the last white pop girl to do it like that. Gaga and them are gonna be like the last to do it like that. Because if you look at Ariana Grande, she's in the shelf. She's in the cabin. What I call her shelf life is smaller, and she's smaller. But them Mariah Carey careers, them Whitney careers, we're not gonna see that. We're
That's
not gonna
true.
see that. The girls we see right now, Adele, Beyonce, Gaga, Taylor Swift, Rihanna. I don't even count Katie, but we'll put Katie for honorable mention. They're not, even Katie's career is fading, right? We're not going to see those girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like no one's coming like that anymore. And it's not to say that the group are less talented, but our attention spans, the industry is they're disposing them faster.
Yeah.
Like I'm already getting tired of Megan Thee Stallion. I'm a Houstonian.
Okay.
So I see it.
I was about to ask you about her too. I was about to say,
Well, I'm just gonna say this. I think I just there's a lot going on, and
okay.
I think she needs an intervention. I think she's an intervention. I don't like this new boyfriend she's getting, a guy named Party. I just want her, and I'm not saying she's an intervention because she's a problem. I want her to have an intervention about her atmosphere, her environment. She's got potential. She's a great artist. She has potential to be a great. She has potential to be a great artist. I think that she's promising. I think that she has talent, but I think there's two things wrong here. One is that I think there are people that are already kind of deeming her legendary a little too early. She's on the front covers of Harper's Bazaar. She's got that, she got all this press around her. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all. That album just came out in November, and it wasn't awful, but it wasn't that great either. It was okay for a debut album. But it was not the kind of, and I'm not trying to compare, but I gotta compare. It did not have the same lasting effect on me as Cardi B's Invasion of Privacy. It did not have that kind of impact on me. The album has been a little forgettable for me. Savage is what carries the album. She does have a couple other bops on there, but the album's a little redundant and the album's a little bit incohesive, and there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm a little confused, and I'm tired of these features with the baby. I just feel like she's got something, and I want somebody to work with her to tap into her to come out with those things. She's lost a mother, she's lost a grandmother, she had that traumatic incident. I want her to take some time to dig deep into her life experiences and put out songs and music that really touch who she is. I don't feel like I know who she is. When I listen to Cardi's music, I'm like, Cardi gives you a lot in her songs. There's stories, there's interwebs. She tells you a lot, but I feel like there's a connection there. And that's my fellow Libra. Our birthdays are right next to each other. But that's, zodiacs aside. I just feel like there's more I get from Cardi. Even though Cardi's songs are very silly and whatever, they're not. She's telling you a lot about her life. She's telling you a lot about being a mother and about money and about hustling and about relationships and pain. Cardi's very poetic in her music. Meg does have these moments where she does those things, but I think she's too busy trying to be cool and be hip. And I feel like if she realized that she was cool and hip within herself, that what we want is her and not this trend. Because I feel like she's jumping on trends. Everything she do is very now, but that now is yesterday, tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how her music sounds. It's like this is too now. Because next week we're not talking about Demon Time. We're not talking about TikTok. And
No.
5 years from now, we're not gonna know what none of the things she's saying in those songs.
No, you're right though.
Think about the rappers we remember you can listen to a Nelly song 10 years from now and it still snaps. You can listen to a
Yeah.
Ludacris song from 5 years ago. You can listen to an Eve song 10 years ago, Missy's music.
Yeah. Oh, Missy. Oh,
To those people, because the music
Yeah.
they made had context. And yes, there were some trends, but there were lyrics that carried and
Yeah.
carried. And I feel like Cardi understands that. She gets a little boppy sometimes. She puts out a little temporary bops, but there's songs that Cardi does that carries that, right?
Yeah.
WAP was a cultural phenomenon. Some of those songs, Bodak Yellow is still iconic, it's still classic.
Yeah.
Be careful with me, be careful. That song carries a level of maturity and growth that is great for a rap song that I haven't heard since the Eve days and the Missy days and those days. And I just feel like I wish Meg can give us just give us her. I just don't feel like I hear her in her music. I feel like I'm hearing everything else but her. And it's not terrible music. It's just that I just want more.
Yeah.
So
that's
how I feel about
understandable.
that. Yeah. Who else? Come on.
Now, this is the one that I love. I love her whole album that she just put out.
I know you're talking about
Jasmine Sullivan.
Sullivan. Yep. Look, I like Jasmine Sullivan. I would just say my thing with Jasmine Sullivan is what I say about Normani. Stop playing and give people the body. Give people the meal. I'm tired of these appetizers. I'm tired of these samples. We know you got it. Give us a damn thing. Be unapologetic about it and give your fans what you want. Life is too short. These people keep playing with us. Like, I mean, Kelly Rowland put out a little mixtape today called K or something I saw on my timeline. And I'm just so tired of Kelly. I love Kelly. But Kelly, I'm tired, Kelly. I'm tired. It's hard to be a Kelly Rowland fan. The girls are tired. Every time I turn around, Kelly would have put out a little 2-minute single, Coffee and all that. Girl, stop playing with me. Give us an album.
Give me an album.
Give us an album. And you know, you need to stop making music. And I love her and I love her husband.
Okay.
Ciara. No more music, Ciara. We don't want any more music, Ciara.
You want her to retire?
Yes, no more music. Y'all not buying it. Y'all not buying the music. We're gonna stop lying. We're gonna stop lying to Ciara. We need Ciara to stop making music. I think those days are long behind her. It's obvious she wants to be a model. It's obvious that she wants to focus on her motherhood and other career opportunities, but she's not in it. She doesn't have her head in it. And I'm tired of, being that fan every time she put an album where it's about 2 or 3 songs, it's cute. And I'm like, this could have been a little melody. This is not an album. It could have been a little melody. We could have been like, yeah, that's a cute little melody, girl. That's a moment. It's true.
I mean, you didn't lie yet. You haven't lied yet.
No, I really want her to win, but I want her to want to win for herself. And I don't think she has it in her. I don't think she has music in her right now. And I think that that's what I'm getting from her. I'm not getting this energy to be a musician. I'm getting all these little teasers. I feel like she does music because she thinks that's what people want from her. I don't want music from Ciara anymore. I want fashion. I want glamour. I want energy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want all these stunts like that Black Lives Matter video. She was pregnant with the baby and the fro and all that. I was like, why are you doing that? Black is King is coming out this week, girl. Why you put this out there? The girls are going to compare you, and that's not fair. She does not deserve to be compared to people. But the problem is that she keeps getting compared, and the fans don't care. They love to compare her, and she puts herself up for this. And my heart just be like, no, Ciara, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So her, who else? Because I know you had, I know you got some other folks in your head.
My goodness, you didn't wore me out. You didn't talk about everybody that I could think of. I would say, I don't want to say that. I don't want to use the word relevant, but
Oh,
I don't want to use that word. So I'm not going to use it. But people that we know about that we are constantly talking about. And you mentioned some great people. But yeah, and like I said, I don't want to take away your time, but let me tell you
I'm
something.
free. I'm free. What's up? Let's
Let me tell
talk.
you, see. But
I'm
no,
here.
I definitely am so grateful for this time that you took out tonight to
Yes.
hang out with me and just have like good conversation. And a lot of what you said is everything you said, not a lot of what you said, everything you said was so truthful and genuine. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm glad you're the president.
Thank you.
See,
Thank
y'all
you.
didn't vote in a black president, but we did.
Yes, y'all did, right?
But we did.
And we're gonna do
Um,
two more years.
that's right. And so I'm very happy about that. But also, you don't just write about it. It's not this character you put on. This
Hmm.
is who you truly are. And we are truly grateful for that. Because whether you know it or not, you're going to go down in history as a legend because you have changed the game. And we haven't had anyone in journalism, true journalism, to do that for a while. That changes the game on all platforms of journalism.
Thank
So
you.
we are definitely grateful for that here at New Our Life. Definitely come back and visit.
Oh, definitely will.
We'll
Like,
have a
listen,
panel.
I'm keeping all my contacts because when my book and all this stuff gets done, I'm
Oh,
gonna be like, I need to come back. I have a product to push.
yeah, you better. You
You
better come back
know,
with
I
that
got the
book.
whole rollout. Okay, because it's no joke. Because
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna make space in my
uh,
library tonight for it.
oh yeah,
Boom.
it's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be a minute, a couple of months. Because I listen. Here's the thing. I have to say this.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have wanted to wait for my stock to increase because it
Okay.
matters. My stock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you go into, they look at you, how many followers you got, how many words you have, what you
Yeah.
have, and they sell you based on that. I was like, you know what? I don't want to jump out here because 2 years ago when I started this process, I wanted to start the process 2 years ago. I never had an interest in getting a book deal like the year I got my agent
Mm.
because my look how much I am worth like right now compared to
Yeah.
when I
Like
started.
you've
So
been on CNN, you've been on all the
LCN.
major channels,
I
like
never, I never,
talking and
all of that. My followers were not the same number of followers I have now. I also did not. I wasn't on Forbes 30 under 30.
yeah,
I didn't get my master's. I didn't have a lot of things that I would say now coming to the table with the things I have now. They're
yeah,
like the number goes up. So I purposely waited to have more, and also I needed more experiences, right?
yeah,
This Justin Timberlake thing happening, some of this stuff that happened with Trump, with the insurrection, all of these things are things I can now write about in more depth.
yeah,
So I start the process to get the agent, but I didn't want people to just jump into a deal. A lot of people just took that money. Listen, Black Lives Matter got these publishers and people looking like, oh, we need to pay Black writers more.
that's right.
So I'm on the right side of history in this.
That's right.
That before this, I heard stories of Black writers not getting good deals or getting
That's right.
bad deals or doing them 360 deals. I want to do something a little different. And so now I feel comfortable with the process now than I did 2 years ago. I was like, oh no, what I gotta do? Well, you might want to do this. I said, okay, well, I will work on myself and get my stuff popping because
Mm-hmm.
I can't sign
Building
this.
your brand.
I can't, yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit more. And now I'm at a place where we ready now. We ready.
Because when people say the name Ernest Owens, people automatically know who that is now. You're a
Yeah,
household name.
and they could Google it.
They
They
can
could Google
Google
it,
you.
or they are familiar with something I've done. Even if they don't know the name, if you said, well, do you remember this situation? I'm someone got my
Yes.
hand in it. And that
Yes.
helps too. So, like one of my favorite things, I like to go to schools and be like, oh, do y'all remember that story about Malone de Rouge, those shirts not being her shirts from H&M? And they're like, yeah, I heard about that. I broke that story. They're like, oh, that was you. So that's how I know I still am relevant with the kids.
Yeah.
So that's always like my thing I tell the kids at Career Day.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Kids love when it comes to social media and breaking news stories and who told what. that's all up their alley. Like TMZ, The Shade Room. What?
Mm,
Who wrote that? Gail King interview? What? Like they're all over stuff like that. So yeah.
yeah.
Uh, hold up. Was that? Was you about to say something? Was you?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
that's right. You're
Because
right.
that was a person I was gonna mention earlier, but I said I
Oh,
didn't know if I wanted to mention her.
say it again.
Gail King.
I like Gail.
Okay.
I like Gail. I like Gail King. I like Gail King. Gail King's Oprah's friend. I have an Oprah Gail relationship with my best friend Jamarcus. There's a scene that Oprah did on one interview, and it's so good. She's like, she's like, she's the friend every friend should have, and she's the mother that every child should have. And she does this whole breakdown. She cries, and she's like, I love her, and I was like, that's how I feel about my friend. Yes. So I
Oh,
love her. I love that scene, and I loved her for talking about that. I said, okay, if anybody can make Oprah cry like that about a person in that
that's
kind of way,
true.
that must be a good friend.
And
So
there was only a couple of people that could make Oprah cry, and that was Dr. Maya Angelou, may she rest in peace, and Gail.
Mhm.
Honestly,
Facts, facts. So
yeah,
she must be a really good friend. So the fact that she's a good friend of Oprah and she keeps Oprah alive and well for us, and she's doing her own thing with her career. Like shout out to her having her career. Like the fact that she has her own career and she is killing it. I mean, I'm looking like Gail King, the journalist. Like,
hmm,
girl, like listen, Gail has made her own. Like she's carved her own journalism career. She's doing it at an age
yes.
that many people would say, "Girl, bye."
Or
She is.
you will be
Where
retiring at that time. Yeah,
where is she in all of our lives? Hidden
yeah,
talent. Yeah, I'm a fan of her.
yeah. I
Yeah.
actually included Oprah in a Black History Jeopardy game I did with some students today.
Oh,
And it was so dope because it was staff versus students. And so some of the staff kind of knew, but the students was like, and then I had one student who came out of like out of nowhere. He was like, who is Oprah Winfrey? I was like, you better know it. Because the question was basically, this person was at one point um, told that her hairstyle was inappropriate for television.
wow, that's a
That was
hard one.
back in
How many women been told that
that was
though?
back
And
in what? That was back in the 70s when she was at the Baltimore station. She talked about her first
yeah,
perm and
yeah,
everything.
yeah. But like
And
that's such a. I mean, wow, good guess for him. I would have probably guessed her because she's such a known name. But
but
like,
here's what I did. Then I put it all together. I said, but today she is a media mogul known
oh,
around the
mogul. Yeah,
world.
oh, there ain't that many of them.
Look, once he heard that mogul, he
Mogul.
was like, "Oh, that's Oprah. Like she got her
Yeah,
own
mogul.
channel."
Oh,
And
anytime you hear the word mogul, media mogul, the first person to come to your mind is her, not
Oprah.
Tyler Perry. It's true. Have you been watching his shows lately? They're so nasty. I don't know what he put on BET, that BET app. That's like
They
the B.
different.
A freak. It's a freak app. It's like one of them apps that that they look at night. Cause what's that thing called seductions? He always got some weird ambitions. Seductions. Creep.
Ruthless,
Ruthless.
ruthless.
Ruthless. That's what's called. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
ruthless.
so here's the thing. It's so funny because
People and chains and a lot of homoerotic imagery and
it's
mhm.
very
I
interesting
heard.
because a friend I heard
I don't watch
a friend of mine was so hyped because they were like, I heard that one of the guys like shows his penis in the show.
there was a scene that
And
was
I
on
was
Twitter that
like,
was showing that.
I said, I think there is. I said, and so I was watching the show because I had like a trial run of BET Plus just to see what was up there. And I
Oh,
was
good.
watching like it was the Bros, it was Ruthless, it was Sisters.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's all of these shows, and I'm just like, wow.
This is what happens when you don't have a writer's room. This is what happens when you don't want to pay writers and you're anti-union and you're into union busting. This is what happens when you could call up those celebrities, those big name stars to get them money, but the regular, degular, working class actors that you can't afford to give, you got them signed deals with the devil where they get paid an exposure and a chicken wing. Yeah, that's kind of how he is moving it over there. I'm just not a fan of Tyler Perry.
What if
I
he
know
called you though, Ernest? What if he said, Ernest, I want you to come down. I want you to be
what
part of this
I don't want
movie.
to be one of his spiritual sons because we know what Bishop A. Long was doing over there in Atlanta. So I don't want to be one of them. I'm not trying to be one of those boys. An apprentice? No, 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 no,
If he
no.
called you and said, "I want you to be in a movie or a
I don't.
show, do a cameo in the show,"
No, I'll say no. I'm real. I'm dead ass. I would not do a Tyler Perry movie. I would have to have a conversation with Tyler Perry to consider to do anything with Tyler Perry. I would have to have a conversation about his content and what he do. It couldn't just be I want you to do this. I'll be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not. I can't.
so
I
you
have to have a conversation with him.
you like me, we're both 90s babies. We're 90s kids, early 2000 kids.
Yeah.
I was telling someone, I said I grew up around my grandparents, so I watched a lot of the old shows. So like soap operas, Dallas.
Yeah.
Um, I know last year when we first started quarantine, I watched I'm still missing the ninth season. I watched like the first 8 seasons of Dynasty. Oh, Dynasty.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah, I know. I want to see Diane Carroll as Dominique. I just wanted to see her play that role, right?
Old vintage queens that probably like listen to Monica and stuff and still
I
be.
just wanted to sit down. I was like, yo, what's this about? So it was interesting watching it and everything. And I was sitting there and I put two and two together. I said, yo, a lot of the stuff that we see today is a repeat of that stuff. And a
Yeah, like
lot of the stuff he does is a mixture of like those 80s
hmm
night primetime night shows with
the
soap
thing is,
operas.
like, does he read books? Does Tyler Perry really read books? Does Tyler Perry, like, I mean, who does he talk to outside of himself in his mind? Everything is what he grew up with. Nostalgia, hatred of black women. I mean, it's all hand in hand. I mean, he's very like elitist. Not elitist. He hates intellectual people. Like he hates black intellectuals. He hates them. He hates black intellectuals. And he hates them because he can't be like them or because he had traumatic experiences in his upbringing where he always felt like they looked down on him. So all his black characters with degrees and educated folk, a lot of them are miserable, have bad relationships, can't get a man, horrible liars, scammers. They're not good people. He makes black intellectuals look like evil people. And every blue moon, he has like that one strong black woman who's a good attorney, but everybody else is just bad. And he's always so happens to be the straight, good looking attorney guy that apparently can't get a woman because those women don't see how good he is. It's like the art imitates life, but yet we can see between the veil. But okay, Alex Cross. Did y'all believe Alex Cross? Did y'all see Alex Cross? Who saw that? I mean, he's not a good. He cannot play a. I mean, I don't know what kind of characters he play. He be playing straight man. I'd be laughing.
So with that,
Yes.
we're gonna
Now that's
close.
why I say he needs an intervention. We need to support him.
We're gonna close
Beautiful,
out tonight.
gorgeous suits. Beautiful suits. Gorgeous suits. Gorgeous suits.
You gotta love Ernest. Yo, so you know what? Thank you so much for stopping by New Our Life
Thank
tonight
you.
and just taking the time. Like it was only supposed to be an hour, but I love the fact that you gave us an extra, like a bonus hour,
Yes,
just
it
to
was fun.
chat with us. And I'm so appreciative of that because I mean, it's one thing to see you on social media and to read your articles, but to see your work, the work you're doing in the community as well. But to actually sit and talk with you has been amazing. And like I said, definitely come back again. When your book come out, come
Yes,
back and
yes,
promote that book so we can
yes,
put it out there.
yes.
And I know one thing, your bookstore, that your alma mater better have it in their bookstore.
Oh, yes. Both
Both
of
of
them,
them. Both
USC
of them.
and University of Pennsylvania. Hell yeah. Calling them first thing. Be like, excuse me, I got these copies. I want to see. Goals is for me to have them on the like outside the when you walk past the bookstore
Hmm.
and they can see in the glass and
Oh yeah,
you
that's
can see outside because they do that with all the ones like it's Penn authors, university authors.
that's
If it's
right.
their book, they put it out there. So I need to see that happen for my book, and I want to have an event there too, like a book signing or something there too.
Ooh, that'll be dope. I'll be
And
there.
I want to do a Barnes and Noble situation. Hopefully, I mean, we try to do something. It's gonna go down.
It's gonna go down. We'll be there. New
Yeah,
Our Life will be there, the whole crew, or
yeah.
partial of the crew, because some of the crew is some are in New York, some are moving to California, but we're still gonna be together. So,
Yay!
with that being said, thank you for coming tonight on New Our Life Presents. And yeah, and you guys please check out his podcast, Earnestly Speaking. And what is the premiere date every week? It comes out every
Thursday at midnight.
Thursday.
Thursday
Okay.
at midnight. Thursday at midnight. Yeah.
Okay. So check it out. You can get it on Apple,
All of
Spotify, all of them.
Google Podcasts, everything. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. He had so many of them. I was like, I only got 3 of these apps. I'm gonna have to download on one of them. But yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much. And this is New Our Life, you guys. Tune in next time.